5 signs your cat absolutely hates you. Okay, maybe hate is a strong word, but these behaviors definitely mean your cat is uncomfortable, stressed, or feels like you're not respecting their boundaries. The good news? Once you understand what these signs really mean and why they're happening, you can completely transform your relationship with your cat. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for and how to fix these issues so your cat can go from avoiding you to actually seeking out your company. Let's dive into these signs and figure out what's really going on. Sign number 1. Your cat's tail is always low or tucked when you're around. Now, most people know that a puffed up tail means a cat is scared or aggressive, but what a lot of people miss is the subtle difference in tail positions and what they're actually communicating. When your cat's tail is held low or tucked between their legs, specifically when you approach or interact with them, that's not just random positioning. That's your cat literally telling you they don't feel safe around you. Here's what makes this particularly interesting. Cats use their tails almost like a mood ring that's constantly broadcasting their emotional state. A confident, happy cat will hold their tail up high, sometimes with a little curve at the top that looks like a question mark. That's the cat equivalent of walking into a room with your head held high. But when a cat lowers their tail or tucks it, they're making themselves smaller, trying to appear less threatening because they feel vulnerable or threatened themselves. The key thing to watch for is whether this happens specifically around you or if it's their general posture. If your cat has a high, confident tail around other family members but drops it the second you come near, that's your cat saying, "I don't trust you right now, and I need you to back off." This usually happens when someone has been too forceful with affection, made sudden movements that startled the cat repeatedly, or punished the cat in ways they didn't understand. I know someone whose cat would literally tuck her tail and flatten her ears every time he walked into the room. He couldn't figure it out because he loved his cat and thought he was being affectionate. Turns out he had this habit of swooping down and picking her up suddenly whenever he saw her, which from the cat's perspective felt like being attacked by a giant every single time. Once he started letting the cat come to him and stopped the sudden grabbing, her tail position completely changed within a couple of weeks. So, if you're noticing this low tail position around you specifically, the fix is actually pretty straightforward. You need to rebuild trust by letting your cat control the interactions. Stop approaching them directly. Instead, sit down in the same room as them and completely ignore them. Let them observe you being calm and non-threatening. When they do approach you, keep your movements slow and gentle. Let them sniff your hand before you try to pet them, and only pet them if they're clearly leaning into your touch. It might take time, but you'll start seeing that tail come up as their confidence around you grows. Sign number 2. Your cat gives you something called a hard stare with dilated pupils. This is one of those signs that people often misinterpret because it can look kind of similar to normal eye contact. But there's a huge difference between your cat looking at you and your cat staring at you with wide, dilated pupils and completely still body language. When a cat does this hard stare, they're not being cute or curious. They're actually in a heightened state of arousal, and not the good kind. This is your cat's way of saying, "I'm watching you because I don't trust what you're about to do, and I'm ready to react if you make a move I don't like." It's basically the cat version of someone giving you the side eye when they think you're about to do something sketchy. Here's where it gets really interesting. The pupil dilation is the key giveaway. Cats' pupils change size based on light, but they also dilate when they're experiencing strong emotions like fear, aggression, or overstimulation. So if you're in a well-lit room and your cat's pupils are huge while they're staring at you intensely, that's not about the lighting. That's about their emotional state. This behavior often happens right before a cat is about to lash out or run away. It's like a warning sign that you're pushing their boundaries and they're getting close to their limit. A lot of people experience this during petting sessions where everything seems fine. The cat is purring, and then suddenly you get the hard stare followed by a bite or scratch. What actually happened is that your cat was getting overstimulated and tried to warn you with body language, but you missed the signal. The fascinating thing is that cats actually prefer something called soft eyes from humans, which is when you look at them with relaxed, slightly squinted eyes and blink slowly. This is cat body language for "I'm friendly and non-threatening." When you stare directly at a cat with wide eyes, especially if you're also tense, they interpret that as aggression or a challenge. So you might be creating a situation where your cat feels like you're threatening them, and they respond with their own hard stare as a defense mechanism. The solution here is twofold. First, learn to recognize when your cat is giving you this stare and immediately back off. Give them space, break eye contact by looking away or slow blinking, and let them calm down. Second, work on your own body language around your cat. Practice those slow blinks, avoid direct staring, and keep your movements calm and predictable. You'll be amazed at how much this changes your cat's comfort level around you. Sign number 3. Your cat is over-grooming or grooming excessively right after you interact with them. This is one of those subtle signs that most people completely miss because grooming is normal cat behavior, right? But there's actually a huge difference between regular maintenance grooming and what's called displacement grooming, which is when a cat grooms themselves as a stress response. Here's what's happening. When cats feel anxious, conflicted, or uncomfortable, they often engage in normal behaviors like grooming as a way to self-soothe and release tension. It's kind of like when humans bite their nails or tap their feet when they're nervous. The grooming itself is normal, but the context and intensity tell you everything about what's really going on emotionally. The key is to watch for patterns. If you pet your cat or pick them up, and immediately after you put them down, they start grooming intensely, especially the areas you just touched, that's your cat essentially trying to remove your scent and calm themselves down from the stressful interaction. They're not just cleaning themselves, they're processing an uncomfortable experience. This is different from a cat who grooms themselves randomly throughout the day or does a quick groom after eating. What you're looking for is grooming that happens consistently right after interactions with you, or grooming that seems excessive to the point where they're creating bald spots or irritated skin. That level of grooming indicates serious stress. What makes this particularly sad is that many people don't realize they're causing this stress. They think they're showing love by constantly petting their cat, picking them up for cuddles, or being very hands-on. But from the cat's perspective, this feels overwhelming and invasive. Cats are very particular about being touched, and they need to feel in control of when and how physical contact happens. There was this situation with someone I know whose cat had a bald patch on her back, and the vet couldn't find any medical cause. After some observation, they realized the cat was grooming that specific spot excessively right after the owner would pet her there. The owner thought she was giving her cat a nice back massage, but the cat found it overstimulating and stressful. Once the owner adjusted where and how she petted the cat, focusing on the areas the cat actually enjoyed, like under the chin and behind the ears, the over-grooming stopped and the fur grew back. If you're seeing this pattern with your cat, it's time to completely rethink how you're interacting with them. Start paying attention to your cat's body language during petting. Are their ears forward and relaxed, or starting to go back? Is their tail still or starting to twitch? Are they leaning into your touch or pulling away slightly? Let your cat guide you to what they actually enjoy rather than imposing what you think they should enjoy. Sign number 4. Your cat is doing something called frustration marking around your stuff. Okay, so most people know that cats mark territory by rubbing their face on things, which is actually a positive behavior. But there's another type of marking that indicates serious stress and frustration, and it's not what you think. Frustration marking can show up in a few different ways. Sometimes it's urine marking, which is when a cat sprays small amounts of urine on vertical surfaces, not to be confused with regular urination outside the litter box. But there's also scratch marking that's different from normal scratching, and even excessive face rubbing that seems almost frantic rather than the relaxed, happy face rubbing that cats normally do. Here's what makes this behavior particularly telling. When cats are frustrated with their environment or stressed by interactions with their humans, they try to make their space feel more secure by layering their scent everywhere. It's like they're trying to say, "This is mine, I need to feel safe here," in the only way they know how. If this marking is concentrated around your belongings, your bedroom door, or areas where you spend a lot of time, your cat might be trying to cope with stress that's specifically related to you. The thing that people often don't realize is that this behavior isn't spite or your cat being mean. This is a cat in distress trying to create a sense of security in an environment where they feel anxious or threatened. It's actually kind of heartbreaking when you understand what they're going through. One particularly interesting form of this is when cats do what's called middening, which is when they leave feces in prominent, visible locations rather than burying it in the litter box. This is different from litter box avoidance due to medical issues or dirty litter. Middening is a specific communication behavior where the cat is essentially making a bold statement about their emotional state. In multi-cat households, this can be about territory disputes, but in single-cat homes, it's often related to stress from human interactions or environmental changes. I heard about someone whose cat started leaving small amounts of poop right outside her bedroom door every few days. She was furious and thought her cat was being vindictive. But after talking to a behaviorist, she realized she'd been shutting her cat out of the bedroom at night, which was a new change, and the cat was stressed about the sudden loss of access to her favorite sleeping spot. The marking was the cat's way of saying, "I'm not okay with this change." Once they compromised by leaving the door cracked so the cat could come and go, the behavior stopped immediately. If you're dealing with any form of frustration marking, the first step is to make sure there's no medical issue causing it, especially with urination. But once you've ruled that out, you need to look at what's changed in your cat's environment or how you're interacting with them. Are you picking them up more? Have you rearranged furniture? Did you bring home a new scent they don't recognize? Cats are incredibly sensitive to changes, and marking is often their way of trying to cope with stress they can't verbally communicate. Sign number 5. Your cat is using avoidance tactics that are more sophisticated than just hiding. Everyone knows that a cat hiding under the bed might be scared or uncomfortable. But cats have developed some really subtle avoidance behaviors that people often don't recognize as signs of discomfort because they don't look obviously fearful. One of the most common is what behaviorists call elevated escape routes. This is when your cat consistently positions themselves on high surfaces like the top of the refrigerator, tall furniture, or cat trees whenever you're home, and they only come down when you're not around or when you're asleep. This isn't just your cat enjoying a nice view. This is your cat maintaining distance from you while keeping you in sight so they can monitor whether you're going to approach them. Another subtle avoidance tactic is called time sharing, where your cat adjusts their active hours to be opposite of yours. So if you're home during the day, your cat sleeps all day and becomes active at night when you're asleep. If you work during the day and come home in the evening, your cat might sleep all evening and become active once you go to bed. They're essentially living in the same house as you, but on a completely different schedule to minimize interaction. Here's one that really surprised me when I learned about it. Some cats will actually follow you around the house but maintain a specific distance, usually staying just out of reach. To a casual observer, it might look like the cat wants to be near you. But what's actually happening is that the cat is monitoring your movements to make sure they can predict what you're going to do and avoid unwanted interaction. It's like they're keeping tabs on the potential threat. There's also something called doorway hovering, where cats will sit in doorways or just outside of rooms you're in rather than entering fully. They're interested in what you're doing and want to be somewhat nearby, but they don't feel safe enough to actually enter your space. This is your cat trying to maintain connection while also maintaining safety, which indicates a relationship that's somewhere between complete avoidance and genuine trust. What makes these behaviors particularly interesting is that they show your cat is still interested in you and wants some form of relationship, but they don't feel safe with the way interactions currently happen. This is actually easier to fix than complete hiding or aggression because there's still some level of trust there. You just need to rebuild it properly. The solution for all of these avoidance behaviors is similar. You need to become less threatening and more predictable in your cat's eyes. This means following what behaviorists call the 3-second rule for petting, where you pet your cat for 3 seconds, then stop and see if they lean in for more. If they do, continue. If they don't, respect that and walk away. It means no sudden movements, no forcing interaction, and definitely no cornering your cat or restricting their escape routes. You also want to create positive associations with your presence. Sit in the same room as your cat and do quiet activities like reading or working on your laptop. Don't try to interact with them. Just let them observe you being calm and safe. When they do approach you, even if it's just to sit kind of near you, toss them a treat and then go back to ignoring them. You're teaching them that being near you leads to good things without pressure to interact. Drop a comment and let me know if you've noticed any of these signs with your cat. Sometimes just recognizing these behaviors is the first step to building a better relationship with your furry friend. So here's the thing. If your cat is showing any of these signs, they don't actually hate you. What they're really saying is, the way we're currently interacting doesn't work for me, and I need things to change. Cats can't use words, so they communicate through behavior. And these 5 signs are their way of telling you they're stressed, uncomfortable, or feeling unsafe. The beautiful thing is that cat behavior is actually really changeable once you understand what's causing it. Cats are incredibly forgiving, and most of them genuinely want positive relationships with their humans. They just need those relationships to happen on terms that respect their nature as independent, sensitive creatures who need control over their own bodies and space. When you start respecting your cat's boundaries, reading their body language, and letting them set the pace for interaction, you'll be shocked at how much they transform. That cat who used to hide or avoid you can become affectionate and engaged. It just takes patience, observation, and a willingness to change how you approach the relationship. If this video helped you understand your cat better, you're going to love this next video about the secret language of cat body language that most people completely misinterpret. Once you learn to read these signals, you'll never misunderstand your cat again.